adventurers. My name is Mary and I'm the co-owner of 2 Foot Adventures, an ultralight backpacking gear shop. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing winter hiking safety tips. And I'm also going to go over some of the gear that I use when I go out for long winter hikes. So let's get started. Okay, first, no matter where you're going, if you're heading out, and this goes for all year long, if you're heading out on a solo hiking trip, or even if you're going with a buddy, be sure that there are other people who know where you're going. You should have a written itinerary that loosely outlines the trail or the path that you intend to take, your destination, and if you have any other side trips you want to explore, go ahead and just jot those down, your approximate time of departure, and the time that you anticipate returning. Leave that with a trusted friend or family member, and also leave a copy of that in your vehicle at the trailhead. It's really important that you let other people know where you're going in case there are unforeseen circumstances. Maybe, God forbid, you accidentally fall and really hurt yourself. People will know how to come and find you. They'll know where to start looking for you. By putting an approximate return time, then people have an idea of when you should arrive back. They can, of course, give you a few extra hours, but surely if you're not back by the end of that day, or if it's going to be the next day when you plan to return, then at least they know when to be expecting to hear from you. Okay, this is how the emergency responders go about locating people and saving lives every day. Is by having itineraries. That by far helps to expedite the process. So we hope that that never happens to you. It's never happened to me, but I've known of many hikers that it has been life-saving. Okay, so when you set out on your winter adventure, most likely you might be going to some place that there is snow. Okay, so having proper footwear is really essential to being safe in the backcountry, especially in the winter. So over here I have some hill sound micro spikes. It's really important that you know what kind of conditions you're going to be facing on your hike that day. So sometimes it could just be snowy, other times it might be really icy. It might be really steep, or maybe you're just going out for a flatter hike through the snowy meadow. So knowing the terrain that you're going on is really important to selecting the proper snow traction and the proper footwear. So I did a video recently on how to choose the correct snow traction. So this particular one, it's shown on the Ultra Tusher boot, and the Hill Sound, the reason I like it the most is it has the top strap on it compared to many of the other micro spikes that do not have this. This is one of the most stable and most trusted micro spikes in the industry because of its very durable rubber, its top strap, and also its spikes on the bottom. It has dual points everywhere the chains, or at least at the front and the back, where the chains connect to the ground plates. You want to be sure that it's fitted properly so that there's no significant movement. That way when you walk, you'll have secure traction. So no matter where I'm going, if I think I'm going to be in the snow, I'm going to take a pair of Hill Sound micro spikes. They come in a nice little carry bag. So there's no reason not to take them. They weigh in right around 1 pound, and they'll help to keep you safe and in contact with the trail, and hopefully you won't be sliding down. Now, if you're going to be going someplace where there's really steep terrain, I recommend something more aggressive than the Hill Sound micro spike. Maybe you want to go up to the Catula K10s or something else. The other thing that you should be aware of, if you're going to be going up a mountain, then you should probably be carrying an ice axe as well. This is a very small ice axe. We also have some larger ice axes here, like the Gravel. There'll be other videos that show you how to properly select the ice axe for you, but if you aren't sure if you need one, then you better take one, okay? You're always better to be safer than sorry. So definitely know what gear you need when you head out into the backcountry, especially if you're going out on a solo winter adventure. Okay, so now we've talked a little bit about the footwear and having proper snow traction. Now let's talk about how you keep your feet warm. Some people, when they hike, no matter what the season is, they're able to have really warm feet. Other people have really cold feet, especially when hiking in the winter and hiking through the snow. Being exposed to cold and wet all day can definitely not be good for your feet. So a couple things we want to talk about. The seal skins. The sealskin socks will help to keep your feet warm and dry. They're a waterproof sock. They actually have a waterproof membrane. There's a couple different levels in there. Whether your feet run really warm or you need some extra insulation, they have different levels for different foot types, okay? So we have a pair here. This is if your feet don't run super cold, then I would do this. If your feet usually stay pretty warm, it's a really lightweight. It doesn't have as much insulation as the number 2 sock, which is over here. Now, not everybody loves waterproof socks. So there is another option to keeping your feet warm and dry, and that is the Rab Vapor Barriers. The Rab Vapor Barriers are basically like a big nylon sock. So something similar to your tent material, but they're the shape of your foot. With the Rab Vapor Barriers, you want to wear a liner sock. So the liner sock, you could choose something like a Fox River or other just nice, really lightweight liner, or maybe you prefer the Ingenji toe socks that help to separate all of your toes and protect against blisters. So either one of these, if I was going out for an all-day hike, I would carry 2 of these, one on my feet and then one in my backpack. So partway through the day, you could change them out and know that you're going to have a nice dry layer against your skin. Either of these solutions will work wonders for you for keeping your feet warm and dry in the backcountry on your winter adventures. If your feet do happen to get wet, no matter what you're wearing, if you fall in a creek and you have inflow of water or something like that, you could end up with a situation that leads to blisters, or maybe you're trying out a new boot. So I would be sure to carry something for blister care. I always have blister care in my backpack with me when I'm on a day hike, when I'm on a multi-day hike, no matter what, I always carry something for blister care if I'm going to be out for probably more than an hour or 2. So some of my favorite products are Leukotape, Second Skin, and Glacier Gel. Glacier Gel happens to be my very favorite because it provides cushioning for the blister, for the affected area, and then finish it off with some Leukotape to keep it in place. And this is the exact knife that I carry when I hike because it has scissors. It also has an actual knife on it. It's got tweezers so you can pull out any splinters if you happen to get a splinter maybe sitting on a log. In any case, this is what I use, and this is in my backpack. When you're going out, you need to wear many layers for winter hiking because when you start off, you're probably going to be chilly. You could start off, if you're doing a really long hike, you might be starting off in the dark where it's especially cold, but once the sun comes out and you start to warm up, you're going to need to be able to peel off layers. Should an afternoon storm roll in, sometimes it happens unexpectedly, maybe you didn't check the weather. No matter what, if I'm going out and I'm going to be out all day and if I'm aware of the conditions or if I'm not aware of the conditions, I always carry multiple layers, and within that, I select a nice lightweight puffy. I carry a rain jacket, and sometimes I'll take just a rain shirt a wind shirt if I think that it's going to be a particularly windy day, and maybe it's not so cold that I want to wear a rain shell. A wind shirt is a perfect in-between for that. It'll protect you, give you a little bit of insulation. It breathes really well. It's lightweight, so I love my wind shirt. I also personally pack a pair of Montbell rain pants. They weigh only 3 ounces, okay? So I have hiked thousands of miles carrying my Montbell rain pants, and I wouldn't go anywhere without them. With these really lightweight options, I use them both backpacking and day hiking. And because they're so lightweight, they don't really weigh me down, but I'm able to be protected for my all-day adventures. You might choose to layer a fleece or choose a synthetic puffy. Whatever makes you comfortable, that's what you should take. But the important thing is to have many layers. Always carry something to cover your head. Okay, so you could choose something like a merino wool beanie. There's several different weights of beanies. As you know, you probably already have something, but if you don't, these merino wool ones, they dry out quickly, they keep you warm, and even if you're sweating in them, because of the merino wool, it's known to keep you warm even when wet. So that's a really great option. There are also a wool balaclava, again made out of the merino wool. These particular products are by Icebreaker, and with the balaclava, as you can see, it comes up over your head. It also will cover your ears, your neck, and go down into your clothing. If your temperatures aren't plunging down below freezing, maybe you want to just opt for a simple buff. Something like this, it's very functional. You can use it as a neck gaiter. You can make it into a beanie. There's all different ways you can wear a buff. So I never go anywhere without mine. I take it backpacking, and in the winter when it's a little bit cooler, I'll pair that with a beanie so that I can have both kind of a balaclava and a beanie. And that's worked really well for me. Also, you want to have a good pair of gloves. Okay, so the sealskins are waterproof and windproof, so because of that, they're going to keep your hands warmer no matter the conditions. You don't want to have anything that's super light that may not work if you end up being out there longer than anticipated. So one of my friends and I, we were recently discussing, is he's new into hiking, especially winter hiking and backpacking in the winter, and what I came to find out in talking with him is that he was missing some really key items. Okay, so I became very concerned quickly in talking with him that if something happened, he would not be prepared for that unexpected event. And as we talked, he also had expressed concern from when he had been out hiking, and the thought crossed his mind, what if I were to slip? What if I were to hurt myself? What would I do? How would anybody know? How would anybody come and find me? How would I survive? He was 20 miles out on a snowy trail. He was at towards the top, and it was very icy. So these kind of things, you know, can happen even to the most experienced or in very unexpected situation. So you want to always be prepared. So a couple extra things that I recommended to him were to carry an emergency bivvy. The emergency bivvy is made of the same thing that the emergency blanket is made of, but it's a little bit stronger, and it actually has a zipper, so you can go all the way inside of it, and even if it's windy, it will help to keep you warm. It works by reflecting your body heat back to you. It is not going to be, it's not sufficient to necessarily be a sleeping bag if you want to be super ultralight and you want to go out in the winter. That is not recommended. This is strictly to help save your life in the event of the unexpected. Okay, I highly recommend these. These cost less than $20, and they could be the difference in making it through the night and not making it through the night if you were to hurt yourself out on a snowy hilltop where it's very cold. The other thing I recommended to him was carrying a personal locator beacon. As more and more people are hitting the backcountry, more companies are bringing these to the market. I started back in 2013 with the Spot, and I have recently upgraded to the Garmin Mini InReach. This Garmin Mini InReach is really amazing. You can send messages back and forth. You can do two-way text messages in areas where you don't have phone service, okay? So in the event of an emergency, you have an SOS button that will immediately alert a search and rescue. They can dispatch helicopters, ground crews, whatever are needed. And with the two-way messaging, you can communicate with them from the get-go. It's also very reliable in places all around the world. The Spot, on the other hand, is simply an SOS button. Once you hit the SOS button, you have no idea what is happening. I've carried my Spot on many trips, and I recently had a backpacking trip where for 3 days, even though I hit my Spot 2 to 3 times every single day, and it looked like it had sent the message, my partner notified me later that he had not gotten any of those messages. My recommendation is to not use a Spot, to upgrade and go with the Garmin Mini InReach. Okay, there might be other ones out there. This is by far the one that the majority of the people use. Its service is excellent and very reliable. In the unexpected event, which we hope never happens to anybody watching this video or anybody else, but in the event you have to be out overnight with just minimal gear, another important thing that could really help to boost your morale and keep you warm would be to be able to make a hot meal or hot water, at least something to keep you warm. So a lot of people carry matches, or at least a lighter. I love the storm matches. I personally have used them when my lighter got wet, or it fell out, or it ran out of fuel. I've had all of those incidences happen. So I carry these safety matches in my emergency kit at all times. I usually carry 3 to 5 of them. You can actually take out the striker and just carry the matches. Drop them in your first aid kit. They're really handy. So my personal kitchen that I use when I backpack is right here, and it weighs close to 4 ounces, okay? With that, it's a 450 milliliter cup. I have a spoon, I have a stove, I have fuel. I have made myself a little koozie to rehydrate my meals, which you wouldn't necessarily need, and I have a foil top and a windscreen. Okay, the windscreen and the foil top are really key if you want to go with something that's this light and this small. So you might be able to see here, I've got some of those matches, and I've got the Esbit cubes, and I've got the folding Esbit stove, all in this little cup, okay? All for 4 ounces or 4.5 ounces, I think it is, with a spoon. So I'm going to go over a little bit about what makes up my emergency kitchen. And again, I actually use this one during my backpacking trips in the summer, but I would definitely take it on a long winter hiking, just even day hiking, to be sure that if something happened, I could always make myself some warm water. I could make myself a hot meal. So be sure if you're going out on a long trip, and by a long trip, I mean something that could be 4, 6 or more hours, okay? Because you have no idea what could happen 2 hours from the trailhead. So take extra food, carry whatever your snacks are, and just grab something easy. You don't need to make something special or anything. Something easy like these prepackaged meals. This one is from Backpacker's Pantry. If you want to get something from Mountain House, whatever it is, a meal that you like, that you would enjoy, something to boost morale and get you through hard times. Okay, so my kitchen is made up of one of these small 450 milliliter titanium cups, but you could just as easily do this very inexpensive Space Saver mug. As you see, it actually fits a Nalgene in it. If you wanted one with a top, they also come the same thing with a top. You can take the top off and store the Nalgene bottle in it and just put the top underneath it and put it in your backpack like that. One of the benefits of hiking with a Nalgene in the winter is that you can put hot water in it. You can put it in your sleeping bag or in, God forbid, your emergency bivvy. You would be able to put it in there to help keep you warm. Okay, so having something that's hard-sided that doesn't leak is important for winter hiking. The other just tip when we're talking about hydration is carrying an insulated vessel of some sort that is also leak-proof, and we'll touch on that again here in just a minute. But for now, we're going to finish this with stoves. The rest of my stove kit is, as I said, I use this, which only weighs a couple of ounces. Then I use this folding stove. This folding stove weighs less than an ounce. I think it's actually about 1/2 ounce. And then I use these fuel cubes. These fuel cubes, you can use about 1/3 to 1/4 to heat water, as long as you have the windscreen around it and a top on it. So it'll heat one of these with about 1/4 to a 1/2 of the cube, depending on how cold the water is. This whole thing has 8 cubes. So 8 cubes are going to last you a really long time. It's only $3. It's very inexpensive. But the combination right here of just these things is so important if you find yourself out there. It's super light, and it's an easy way that can help you get through a really tough situation. Just by being able to keep yourself warm, even if that's waking up every hour and drinking some hot water, it's going to just really make you feel good and help you get through a really tough situation. I use this super lightweight spoon that folds in half, and I just like it because it stores right in my cup. Okay, so that is everything for my kitchen. Like I said, it's just this little stove. You only need maybe 1 or 2 of the fuel cubes to go out on any single trip, especially if you aren't going overnight. And a variety of pots that you could choose from. This one is less than $20. And so it's a very inexpensive way, if you don't have the gear, to just go ahead and pick up a couple of these things. They're all lightweight. And like I said, your life and your morale is worth it in the unexpected situation were to occur. So lastly, I'll go back to my friend who was hiking, and he was telling me he was having trouble getting enough calories in when it was really cold. He was hiking when the evening temperatures were, say, -5, and he was getting up in the middle of the night just because he was miserable trying to sleep. He was very cold, and he has previously been doing other, say, 25 and 30 mile day hikes in the winter, climbing up the mountains. And so we discussed some ways to help him get more nutrition in while he is out on these winter hikes when it's so cold you just don't want to stop. So one of the things I recommended to him was an insulated thermos. And go ahead and when you heat water in the morning, you can, after you have breakfast, put in your insulated thermos calories. So these calories could be in the form of nut butter, protein powder, if you want to even put in some chia seeds, some other flavorings, if you want to even put in a little bit of oatmeal, anything that you could then drink. So put in all of your calories, shake it really well. You could even blend up a banana and put hot water over it. Whatever it is, if you're setting out at home, from home, you have a little more options. But if you're waking up and you're in the backcountry and you're looking for something to eat during the day that's something other than bars or trail mix, making a hot liquid meal can really help to get you through the day. I hope you've enjoyed some of these tips and tricks and the safety. Most importantly, I want you to be safe when you're out enjoying the backcountry during all seasons. But during the winter, we have particular challenges. So don't forget to leave that itinerary with somebody you know and a copy of that also in your car. Be prepared when you set out. No matter what you do, enjoy your time out there. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel below. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at 2 Foot Adventures. Let us know where you're going, what your exciting adventures are that you have coming up, and let us know what other videos you'd like to see us make. We have a long list of exciting videos in the queue, but we'd love to hear from you and incorporate some of your ideas. We hope you have a wonderful adventure. Until next time, bye.